This is my most worn boot, the Grantstone Edward. I average, I think, wearing this maybe once a fortnight, and out of 120 something boots, that's something to say. Why? How are you going? Welcome back to my channel, Bootlosophy, my boot review channel on heritage boots. If we haven't met before, my name is Tech. I'm filming in Perth on Wajak Noongar country, Kaliko Wajak Noongar Buja. So today I'm going to talk about this pair of Grantstone Edward boots in Tobacco Waxy Commander. Waxy Commander is a type of shrunken suede that's tanned by Charles F. Stead in Leeds in England. I'll leave a website to Grantstone below so you can have a look at it. Now, Grantstone, their stock, standard, most popular product is not in fact the Grantstone Edward. It's the diesel boot. And for some people, you might actually find it quite difficult to work out what the difference is between the Edward and the diesel, but I'll go into that. So, history of this boot. I bought this in November of 2021, so that's over 5 years ago. I wear it a lot as a casual boot. It's clearly not a dressy boot. And the reason I do that, I think, is I find it very versatile as a casual boot. You can wear it with jeans. You can wear it with earth neutral colors. So you can wear them with, say, dark brown chinos, tan chinos, khaki chinos, even pale sand-colored chinos. You can wear them with olive greens, you can wear them with navies, you can even wear them with black, as long as you wear them casually. So very versatile in colors, very versatile in dress. It's also extremely comfortable. One of the underrated things I think I find about Grantstone, we all know, I think, that they're made in the heritage style. There's lots of leather underneath, there's a leather insole, there's a leather midsole, there's a cork filler. But one of the, I think, underrated things is how comfortable they feel. And that's partly because of this proprietary studded sole. When you put your feet in these, and with most Grantstones, I have to admit, you just feel extremely comfortable. It breaks in easily. And then once it's broken in, you don't have the sort of hard leather, getting used to it kind of vibes that you would with maybe some of the tougher, more durable boots out of the P&W. So it is such a beautiful crossing between a durable boot and a comfortable boot. Now, what is the difference with their best-selling diesel boot? It's the same Leo last, that's the mold shape on which they designed the boot. So if you looked at this and a diesel in comparison, top down, sideways, they look almost the same in shape. This is a dressier pattern, and I'll tell you why it's a dressier pattern. Is the quarters on these are larger. They come right round to the back, whereas on the diesel, you get the quarters cut into by the backstay. So these large quarters, if this was in a dressy leather, would actually look extremely dressy because there's less stitching and all that sort of thing. There's only one little small strip of a backstay. However, for some strange reason, despite this dressier pattern, they're always making the Edward in more casual leathers, like in Waxy Commanders or Kudus and hairy kind of buffalo leathers and all sorts of weird things like that. They don't, I don't believe, have ever made them in, say, a dressy black or a dressy brown Chrome Excel or a calfskin that you can polish up and wear with a suit, because you could quite easily wear this with a suit if it was in the right leather. They have very small eyelets. Well, not very small. They're smaller eyelets than in comparison to the diesel, which again gives you the idea that it's a dressier boot. And also because they're small eyelets, there's 5 of them, whereas in the Leo there are only 4. Same sort of material, the burnished brass. But again, you know, because they're small, they just look dressy. But in this format, and you play around with different laces, they're just a nicely shaped, nicely designed casual boot. Okay, let me remind you about the style. So this is technically a service boot style. Now, I guess if you're in England, you might actually call that a derby boot, as opposed to an American service boot. I can never tell the difference between the two because they're all derby lacing design. That's where these pieces are sewn onto the front of the boot rather than being part of the boot in a closed lacing system. Whether it looks like a service boot, World War II style, or whether it looks like an English derby boot, I think that's up for argument. But I would call them a service boot because it's that sort of design and they come from an American company, so I'll call them that. It has an almond toe, a reasonably roundish shaped almond toe, so it's not uncomfortable in that pointy design, which often when you have a really pointy almond toe, it's actually longer in front of your toe as well. These fit me the perfect thumb's width, thumb's width from the tip of the boot. If there were a sharp design, I'd find that there might be actually 2 thumb widths so that they can fit your toes in without squashing them. The construction is a rubber outsole, a flat block heel, a leather midsole, a leather welt, inside a leather insole, in between the leather insole and the leather midsole, in that cavity caused by the welt that goes all the way around, they use a cork filler. So when you put these on, you've got leather that eventually squishes under your foot, on top of cork, which eventually squishes, on top of a leather midsole, which eventually squishes. So over time, and these have done for me, I can feel them, I think. Yeah, over time, you get this wavy effect as if you've created your own orthotic insole, which again is one of the reasons that it becomes so comfortable. The uppers of the boot, as I said, this is made by Charles F. Stead in Leeds in England. It's their waxed suede called Waxy Commander. Now, wax suedes are not all Waxy Commanders. Waxy Commander is a wax suede, but not all wax suedes are Waxy Commanders. Waxy Commanders are only produced by Charles F. Stead. And how they make it is they tan ordinary suede, put it through a heat pump, and reduce the volume of the suede by up to 30%, by up to a third. What that does is, suede is actually quite a soft leather. When they shrink it, the leather fibers, which are quite open and soft in normal suede, kind of squish together. So it becomes a firmer leather and it becomes more durable. And then to top it all off, they put on a soft layer of soft wax, which is designed to crack and wear off within 3 or 4 wears. Literally, when you buy this new and you put them on for 2 or 3 days, at the end of that, you're going to find dark and light patches where the wax has cracked off. Do not compare this with wax flesh. So let's talk about how this has worn. I've told you how over the years I found this to be one of my most comfortable boots. And I have to say, even amongst other Grant Stones, this is one of my most comfortable boots, bar none. No idea why. Maybe because for some reason that particular combination in this particular boot worked really well. How else has it worn? The Waxy Commander flaked off, as I said it would. And I used this as a project to try and re-wax a Waxy Commander. And what I did was I put a thick layer of wax on it from a wax bar. And then I used a heat gun to melt the wax in. Initially, it looked really good. It looked really like I re-waxed the boot. But then I realized, unfortunately, after some wear, after having done that, that I'd kind of made everything a uniform color. I wanted to show you how different the surface is before and after conditioning or re-waxing. Now, this is a Parkhurst in a Waxy Commander that's not dissimilar to the original way that the tobacco came in. And if you look at this dark bit here, that's what the original wax looked like. I mean, that's actually worn off quite a lot. Let me see if I can find a piece. Maybe here. See how that dark bit is there with just a little bit of the fibers showing? And as it wore off, you get this almost pure suede, but mainly you get places like that where it's still waxy, a little bit of suede breaking through, and that, you know, takes, I would have said, a week, week and a half. It's not like wax flesh, which is a really seriously thick coat or coatings of wax, hard wax. This is a kind of wax that you might get in say kiwi wax polish that's put on top, and it rubs off quite quickly. Now this of course is the boot I'm looking at, and once I re-waxed it and then put a heat gun over it, the wax sort of went into the suede, and even where you see the nap, can you see that there? Even where you see the nap here, it's actually now a dark brown rather than this sort of tobacco color. And that's really because the wax has seeped into the suede itself rather than in this case sit on the surface waiting for it to get scraped off. So it is a bit of a shame, and has changed the character of it. So be careful. I mean, I after having done that would not re-wax Waxy Commander. It is so full of waxes anyway, inside the suede as well as on top of it, that I think it would take a lot to dry out. And I would only do it if it started to look dry before it felt dry. I've never had Waxy Commander feel dry, but I would do it, I would recondition it, maybe with a very light smear of Venetian shoe cream, just on the surface. A very light smear. The rubber, I worked out that I've worn this maybe once a fortnight. But the rubber heel and outsole are showing a bit of wear, but not a huge amount. This part here, that part of the heel, I'm wearing into, not this one. Yeah, on this side, I'm wearing, there are two layers of rubber. There's a rubber lift on top of the leather lift, and then the top lift. I'm wearing into that second rubber lift. And pretty soon I think I'm going to have to take and replace the top lift and get it done by a cobbler. But the toe, there's a little bit worn there, and yeah, more on the right boot, but not by much. And the way that Grant Stone does the stitching, which is deep into the rubber, it's not worn the stitching at all. Tell the truth, maybe it's worn a little bit into the stitching. But that's, what, 21 to 26, 5 years worth of wear. A little irritation I find is that it is not a gusseted tongue. And on this boot, the tongue just slips over to one side. And by the time I end the day, I find I've got that gap between tongue and side of the lace facing. Not so much this one. So that's a little bit of irritation for me. Let's summarize. This is still selling for US $395. I can't remember what I bought it for, but I think it was around US $340. So prices have gone up, but you can expect that because of COVID and supply issues and general inflation. It amazes me how Thursday keeps their prices pretty level, but you can't surely criticize Grant Stone for lifting this boot up to $395. Here's a funny thing. In my early Grant Stone reviews, when they're around $320, $330, I used to say, I can't believe it's that price. I honestly can't. It's worth at least $50 more. Bugger it, they heard me. Anyway, I hope you like this long-term catch-up of the Grant Stone Edward boot in Charles F. Stead's Tobacco Waxy Commander. It's not one of my favorite boots in looks, but it's definitely one of my favorite boots in how easy it is to put it on and how comfortable it is to walk around in it, just doing my chores, going shopping, going to the shops, you know, and relaxing in them. Really great. Listen, help me out. Click on the like button down below, and if you like what you've seen but you're not subscribed, why don't you subscribe? There's more reviews like this coming to you every week. So you guys take care out there. It's a pretty crazy world at the moment. Take care, and I'll see you back here soon.